Taizo creates all-mineral sunscreen that fits into any skincare routine. Taizo sunscreens are lightweight, virtually invisible, and free of chemical sunscreens, so they're reef-friendly. Free of dyes, fragrances, and preservatives, it's elegant sunscreen you'll love and that loves your skin. Taizo Skincare is the perfect partner to our sunscreens in the fight against photoaging. With powerful antioxidants and benefit ingredients, Taizo Skincare helps diminish the visible signs of aging and prevents further damage. Visit taizoskin.com for more information. DMK is unlike any skincare company on earth. Named after visionary founder Danae Montague King, DMK is committed to providing individualized products and treatment plans that heal skin on the cellular level, whether the condition concerns pigmentation, acne, inflammation, or signs of aging. DMK is home to the original enzyme mask, the game-changing formula that sends oxygenating, tightening, and exfoliating signals into the skin to enact changes in skin structures from the inside out. At DMK, we believe everyone deserves to feel the confidence that comes with healthy, beautiful skin. Learn more at DanaeMKing.com. That's DANNEM King.com.
Hello and welcome to ASCP's Esty Talk. I'm your co-host Maggie Staszcuk and ASCP's Education Program Manager.
And I'm Ella Cressman, licensed esthetician, certified organic skincare formulator, ingredient junkie, and content contributor for Associated Skincare Professionals.
Ella, I recently came across this article in the Financial Times, of all places, and it was talking about these holy orders like monasteries, convents, things like that have either started the ancient practice of herbalism or they've been practicing it for centuries, and it was to generate revenue. And they also were doing this to sustain themselves without the support of the Catholic Church. There was an example in this article in France, a group of nuns, they started making their own product in 1954, and it was led by a nun who had been a chemist before she took her vows.
So what do they do with the profits? They put it back in, and then what if they make extra? Interesting.
It all goes back into
production.
Yeah, into production.
I like that.
Yeah, wow. I thought it was really fascinating. So I wanted to discuss a little bit about herbalism because we don't often address a more holistic approach to aesthetics or using plant care in our products.
No, you don't, because it's associated with foo-foo, and which is like implied ineffective or not as effective.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective. And I don't know if you get this sense as well, but, aesthetics was going very medical for a long time. And still there are medical procedures or medical aesthetics that estheticians and med spas and doctors still are practicing, will always practice, in my opinion. But I think there is also this split in the lane, and you're seeing a lot of estheticians take up holistic approaches again.
I think there is a global call for that, though. Because, I do a lot of international education. I was actually on with somebody in the Middle East yesterday, and we were talking about the sourcing and the because it's different in a lot of areas where it's just medical practitioners. And particularly there, like skincare products, even the skincare we can sell in a spa, they sell through a pharmacy.
Interesting.
And so we were talking about sourcing, because I think the other thing that we understand a lot more now is there is this part in the herbalism. Let's take Indian pennywort, for example. They call it also tiger's grass. And so tiger's grass, because the tigers would roll around in it after they get in a fight, and it started to repair their skin from the wounds. So incredibly we knew that anecdotally. It's been passed down that way for a long time, but now we understand scientifically in evaluating the components of that plant, it's incredibly anti-inflammatory, encourages like a lot of the skin immune boosting properties and the regenerative properties, all required if you have a tiger laceration,
Yeah.
So that is one thing that we can explain in like a drawn from old times to new, or even the old one that's like real old, like played out, is the lactic acid from Cleopatra, for example.
Yeah.
So there is that influence of it now. And I think we did have that all over here, all over there, and then this merging and the global call for bringing it together, understanding even with practices like in the med spa, that there has to be a complement of skin health somewhere in there, which we talked about. And that is the whole, looking at it as a whole, where before holistic was thought like synonymous with a different ideology.
Yeah, I think you just gave a brilliant summation of what is herbalism, which is the medical and therapeutic use of plants. And the thing that's interesting to me, like when we talk about what is a drug, we're actually making a direct change in the skin, right? When we talk about what is a cosmetic, it's something that's intended to be applied topically and it beautifies. But both drugs and cosmetics can have plant origins, as you've said. So where do you draw the line between this is a plant or this is a product that has plant origins? So if we're talking about the tiger's grass that's healing tiger wounds, isn't that altering function of the body or helping to repair and assisting function of the body? Technically, you could argue that's a drug, right?
I think it's the FDA determination. I think they all have influence.
Yeah.
Regenerative properties of certain things. But the FDA is going, at this concentration, has to have the drug facts.
Yeah, that makes sense, totally. One of the things about these holy orders that are creating cosmetics and making them so successful is that people are trusting them because of their origin. They're coming from the church, they're coming from the convent, and people are wanting to purchase them because they have been in production for hundreds or even thousands of years. And I found that really interesting too. I think trust is a really big deal when we're talking about manufacturing.
I think that is so true because we are in such a time of distrust right now. Because we've been fed so much BS for our lifetime, at least, and most of our parents' lifetime, we were fed manipulation. That's why now we have those ingredient scanning apps, or that's why now we check labels, because we can't look at the front of a box and it says healthy, and we're like, okay, we have to prove it. And here we can trust. There is no way this nun is going to steer me wrong. If she says, if she cannot lie. She cannot lie. So if this is what she says, then this must be.
Yeah.
Because they don't have they're not going to try to manipulate me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They're just trying to do good.
Yeah.
Do God's work, if you will.
Yeah, they're doing God's work. That's right. Making a cosmetic cream for my face.
Mm-hmm. Or whatever the denomination is or the affiliation is.
Right.
That's not for profit.
Yeah. So you had said you were talking to somebody in the Middle East, and their cosmetics are sold through pharmacy only. Mm-hmm. Why is that?
They're skincare products. They're prescribed. So, and get this, estheticians don't have any training there either.
Interesting.
There is no hour requirement, so they can still practice and perform certain things. They don't have a regulatory board, but their doctors are the ones that are doing most of their procedures. So in this particular instance, we were talking about chemical peeling. So their doctors are peeling and then writing a prescription for XYZ skincare that you or I could carry in our shops.
Interesting.
Yeah. But you know what? Their compliance rate is higher.
Oh, I'm sure. I think that goes back kind of to the trust a little bit. Mm-hmm. The doctor said he's not going to steer you wrong. He's telling me this is what I have to apply and use every day. Do you think, though, I would like to believe that if I go see my esthetician or I am the esthetician, I should have some rapport with my clients. I would hope that they're trusting me. If I'm saying this is what you should use every day, I am, quote unquote, prescribing it to you, that my clients would have faith and trust in what I am telling them to do.
I think they have percentage of faith and trust, but it could be that percentage is adjusted by any whim. Some clients, the percentage is adjusted by an Instagram ad. Some clients, that percentage is adjusted by what their neighbor's cousin is doing. It's such a culture of distrust. I do have clients who are loyal and call me up. Should I do this? Or even before we started today, I had a client reach out. She had been unable to come in to see me for whatever reason. She has rosacea. She got on what her dermatologist said okay, doctor, position of authority, and she had a continued flare-up. So I spent time with her explaining, I sold her one product the last time she was in, and I said, just one. I want you to do just one, because I'm instilling trust that I'm really trying to help her skin and not sell her product. So just one product, and now she's like, I need to come get everything else. I've got to get a cleanser, like she wants to replace everything else now. So I don't take it lightly, but even she used to trust me before. She couldn't get in, trusted her dermatologist who sent her to Ulta.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. And they do their best too. The dermatologists do their best with what they're told. In fact, I subscribed to a journal that said like this whole class on how to prescribe over-the-counter skincare products. I was like, no, just send them to the esthetician.
Totally. Yeah, that's a good opportunity for you to have a cross-referral system.
All right.
Yeah, totally. So let's back it up to herbalism here. We said practice of medical and therapeutic use of plants. True herbal skincare works to carefully combine plants in order to boost and balance their effects. I think that's just skincare in general, you know?
Yeah, a lot of times in herbal skincare, we're using whole plant extracts. And there is a difference between a whole plant extract and like an essential oil, for example. You can use, or even a plant stem cell. In this case, imagine the whole rose from the bloom to the stem, and we're pushing it, squeezing it, versus taking just the petals and squeezing it. There's different compounds in the leaves, in the stems, in the petals, in the pollen, all of those things, there's different compounds, and you're taking it. And so in herbalism, that's often what you're doing is taking that whole plant, not just little elements of it, considering the whole thing.
Yes, as well as considering the relationship of different plants with each other. What works well together, what plants regulate each other, as well as regulate the function of the skin.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
Are you interested in providing results-driven treatment services? Join a team of like-minded individuals who share your passion and support your success. With more than 1,000 franchised locations in 49 states, Massage Envy is not only the nation's #1 provider of massage services collectively across its franchise network, but also a national leader in skincare. Start or grow your career at a Massage Envy franchised location. Visit massageenvy.com/SDcareers for full details.
Okay, here we go. Let's get back to the podcast.
So like we've been saying, this has been practiced for centuries, and you can consider Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. I worked for a while with a naturopath and a acupuncturist who practiced Chinese medicine.
I love that.
And that was really interesting to see all of the herbs that they would pull combined together because they worked well together and there was synergy with the skin to create change. It was really amazing.
I love Chinese medicine for that. I think it seems a little mystical.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like magic, but it's just knowledge.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that.
One of the most famous of all the monastic pharmacies, and I'm probably going to butcher this.
Oficina Profumo Farmaceutica de Santa Maria Novella.
Boom. Drop the mic. So this was housed in a 13th century Dominican friary in Florence, established in 1221. One of the earliest products was rose water, and it was intended to treat the plague, first sold in 1381.
So for medicine, it smelled great.
Yeah.
Oh
They had good intention there. I think that's so funny when I see rose water. I think toner. I remember when I first was going to aesthetic school, before I even entered aesthetic school, and I thought toner, I think rose water probably is what came to mind. I probably had a rose water in my bathroom.
But what is rose water for? To balance.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
I never used it.
I feel like, okay, before I went to aesthetic school, I always toned. That's just what I was taught.
Yeah.
You cleanse, you tone, you put on your cream. After aesthetic school, my whole philosophy about just cleansing in general, and that includes toners, completely changed.
Yeah.
I am anti-toner.
And I think that's the thing. I never was toner. But you know what? Here's my confession. Even though I loved skin before I became a licensed esthetician, my routine was soap and Jergens. That was it. But I mean, I was in my 20s. This is before, like, we did not know like this generation knows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably even used toner just to straight up wash my face. You know?
Oh, that's not true. I did use, do you remember Clinique's Dramatically Different?
Yeah.
I did use that, but only when I was at my mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was expensive. I was broke in my 20s.
Another holy order, quote unquote, found here in the US, it's called the Sisters of the Valley. This is a collective of non-religious spiritual nuns. So they are living in a communal monastic life, and they're growing marijuana to create CBD products.
Let me tell you where my mind went before you said that last statement.
Tell me.
Can you remember how we were talking about the nuns and how, they wouldn't lead us astray? And then you said the Sisters of the Valley, this collective of non-religious but spiritual. I'm like, cult. And a communal monastic lifestyle. I was like, I wouldn't buy anything from them. And then you're like, grow marijuana to create CBD products. I was like, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. They're probably based in California. That's what I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Northern.
Do you think the CBD is still trending? Do you think it's phasing out?
I think the frenzy is faded out, which I predicted. I'm like, nobody should design, in my opinion, around one ingredient, because like interchange it with vitamin C. But I think the use of it's still important. I think it still has its place because the benefits are still there. So it's like saying, do you think CBD, I just did what I was telling other people to do. Do you think vitamin C will phase out? No, but we're not as excited about it as we were before. And what we know about vitamin C now is that there's different stabilizers. I think it will continue on with CBD and we'll have different complements, like with terpenes. The advancement's still ongoing. But to see it in a gas station, like a cream in a gas station, or there's a CBD sunscreen that people are selling in weird places that you wouldn't see before. That's definitely died down.
I think, but to your point, you don't have an entire line that's just based on vitamin C.
Mm-mm.
Like you have entire lines built around CBD.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some other ingredients commonly being used by some of these holy orders. And what's important to point out is that oftentimes they have their own farms where they're cultivating these ingredients. So when we're talking clean and green, I mean, this is like farm to face.
Ooh, where? Let's go. I could just like the tigers in the grass, me and you would be like, like the fields.
I don't even know if that's a thing. It just came to me.
I think it's good.
So rose, we mentioned already, but it's good for all skin types. It's intended to calm inflammation, even skin tone, and it even targets bacteria.
Oh, chamomile. Do you like chamomile?
Love it.
It has alpha-bisabol and chamagiline and apigenin. And these compounds are brightening and clarifying. So chamomile for the skin is fantastic.
Calendula, this is derived from marigold flowers and is anti-inflammatory, soothing, and speeds wound healing.
Sage is an amazing element for a lot of different things because of the cell proliferation influence. So great for acne, psoriasis, and eczema.
Honey is also commonly used. It's naturally enzymatic and it's hydrating. So you'll commonly see these holy orders with their beehives and collecting the raw honey and then using that in production with their products. And I have to say, honey is one of my most favorite ingredients in skincare for its enzymatic properties.
Lots of different benefits with that, huh?
Totally, yeah.
Olive oil is something that's been around for a long time because it's really close to the body's natural sebum. So for that, it really helps with the natural moisture factor.
Thyme is a cousin to mint. It's filled with phenols, a plant compound that has been observed to combat bacteria and acne.
Mint. Do you like mint?
Love mint.
Do you plant mint?
I have in the past, yeah.
Okay. It'll take over, so be careful. But mint is one of my favorite things. It also has an effect on your mood because the olfactory system. But in the skin, just as you take a deep breath of mint and it feels refreshing, it does the same for the skin. And it even can help to clear up acne because, you've never noticed like a lot of acne smells a little minty. Well, mint has natural salicylic properties.
Lavender's another good one. It soothes itchy skin like eczema and psoriasis. It's anti-inflammatory and also a natural astringent. Now, listeners, we want to hear from you. Share with us on social media through Instagram, Facebook, or by emailing getconnected@ascpskincare.com. Thank you for listening to ASCP Esty Talk. And as always, for more information on this episode, or for ways to connect with Ella and myself, or to learn more about ASCP, check out the show notes.